Welcome to Chocolate Cake for the Soul, a cozy space to return to your truth, awaken your energy, and find clarity. I'm Dewi, and I'm here to hold gentle, powerful conversations on healing, intuition, and the unseen energy that shape our lives. So get comfy, and let's take a bite of chocolate cake for the soul together. Welcome to Intuitive Reading Series, a session where I read a guest's energy to help them gain clarity, release what's no longer serving them, and gently realign with their truest path. I'm excited to share a little bit about today's guest, someone who is deeply committed to helping others embrace their true selves and build personal brands that feel authentic. This individual is all about guiding people to find their unique voice, showing them that success doesn't have to come from following the crowd, but it can be from standing tall in your own truth. With a strong focus on authenticity and self empowerment, today's guest has dedicated his work to helping others create meaningful, purpose driven brands. So let's begin this reading and see what's waiting to be revealed. Okay, Brill, can you say your name?
Brilliant Liu.
So I see you today vibrating at like a bright, almost like a fuchsia pink actually. So I'm gonna read you from a red, like a true red with a fuchsia on top. Oh, there's a lot of family energy. Okay, I am putting in bleachers. So all family beings go to sit at the bleachers. You're not welcome in the bubble. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
So why is there a reason why the family energy is there?
Yes, because they don't want you to hear the communications.
I see, because it's interestingly, our past conversation about me have to letting go of the family, like entirely, so I don't have any attachment to them and I can live my life, like actually live. Now I actually want to ask that question because I feel like I already let go, and I kind of have that I can breathe finally because I no longer feels the attachment that I have to do something for them. But I do feels like there is this question that keeps popping in my head. Did I or have I actually let it go? Because I feel and I'm sure I have, but did I actually let it go?
Okay, so this question makes it seem like it's a one thing. Like there's one string and then you let go of this one string, oh, it's done. Whereas the reality or the truth is it's not as simple as there's one string and then you just pull out the string. So when you say like, did I let it go? In some form, yes, but in other forms, there are many different, more intricate stuff that is in you and in your space and in your energy. So for the most part, I did see that you let go some of the cords that were maybe pulling you in that sense. So you let go some of that. But have you let go of all family energy? The answer is no, because I think also it's not realistic. It's also not realistic. I still do see, like for example, some family energy that is not serving you. I still do see some. It's like a dark green energy. It's around like your neck area, around here. It forms like a line. So there's still some remnants energy there. However, to validate what the work that you've done, I do see that you own more of your space. So meaning you have these boundaries where this is my space, you family, you stay there. So this I see more clearly. So they're outside of your space. They're not so much coming in and meddling with your life.
From the first, you say you feels like there's a lot of family energy.
Yes. So when we first started the session and I wanted to ground the space, there were a lot of family energy that wanted to get into this bubble, this space that we're doing the reading from. And they were meddling with my crown color. So the crown color is what I use to read you, to set the color, the energy. So they keep changing the color. So I put it at red and then they change it to some other color. I put it again and they keep changing. So that's when I know that there are meddlers, like in terms of energy, in this bubble space. So this bubble space is different from your personal space. So there were a lot of family energy that didn't want you to hear or whatever it is that we're going to be talking about today. So that's why they were meddling.
Did they do that because of they don't they know that I will communicate this to you?
Okay, so these energy are mostly, there are two parts of the energy actually. One, they are family beings, so all family has beings. Could be your ancestors or whatever they pray to or whatever, something like that. So family and family beings. So some of these don't even have a body. They're just energy, basically. So there's part of that. Mostly what I see is that energy that was meddling just now. And why do they not want you to hear? As with all energy, once you have awareness and then you draw your boundaries, then they lost control over you. Because if you're unconscious, then they can do stuff and you don't know and you don't notice. But once you already have awareness, when they try to do stuff or they try to control you, you know, then you will not play the game anymore. So in essence, that's usually why, that's how the energy works. So like for example, this is just an analogy. For example, let's say you have a house and then when you travel, turns out some of your neighbors come into the house and use the house and you didn't know. And then when you come home, you feel like, why is the house so strange? How is it so dirty, for example, right? But once you have awareness, maybe you have a CCTV, then they cannot just walk into the house and use the house anymore because you know and you can see, oh, there's a CCTV. You have awareness, so they cannot control you in that sense. So that's how the energy game is played.
So did it have a connection when I say just now that I'm sure that I have let go because I don't feel like I am attached to them, that I have to do something for them anymore, but sometimes it just keeps popping up, the question.
Yeah.
It's trying to reconnect back.
Yes.
But I don't want it.
Yes. So it's like you already disconnected the cord, right? But doesn't mean that they cannot try again to knock on your door. Hey, 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 hey. I mean, they could do that. And then it's up to you to let them in or not. It's your choice. Whereas in the past, you don't have that awareness, so they just sneak in and then they come into your space. So that's the difference. So now you have more clearer boundaries and then they need permission. So actually, with everyone, energy cannot come in unless you allow them to be. Or you give them permission to enter. For the most part, people are not doing it consciously. So it's an unconscious thing that happens. And usually there's a back door, like they sneak in through guilt or through responsibility or through whatever leverage that they have. And then they sneak in that back door to get into our space. So our homework is then, how are they getting in? What pictures, what energy, and from where? And then we do the work, we figure it out and then we do the work. But yes, so energy cannot come in unless you give them permission to. So like now, for example, they're knocking and if you say no, then it's a no. That's it. And then usually you will feel also you have more space.
Yeah.
Like there's more space.
I think that's what I meant when I say I can breathe more and I can actually live my life without actually something or whatever it's bothering me.
Yeah, because the energy, you let it go. So there's some more space. But what I saw just now was there's still some energy lingering around your neck area, a little bit.
The green color.
The green is a dark green color.
So is it like more towards positive or negative?
Oh, this is a foreign energy. So an energy that is not yours, that is still in your space.
So I have to figure that out.
Then you have to figure it out, like what it is and who it's from or what is it or whatever.
What do I have to do to figure that out?
Usually it will show up as things that you don't want to happen and it happens in your life. It's not a desired or preferred outcome, let's put it that way. That's how it usually shows up.
But let's say I let it happen. Will it have a chance of benefiting my life?
Usually not.
But when you say usually, so there might be a chance that it will benefit my life?
To a certain extent, yes, but then it becomes a limitation later.
Is there a chance like I can actually use this energy for my own benefit? Like is there a chance to tweak it or work with the energy?
That's usually where agreements are made. So the agreement is, okay, I let you do this, but from this I get this, la 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 la. So that's how energetic agreements usually are formed. But in essence, your body, your space, runs its most optimal when you're using your energy. So when we have a foreign energy, even if it's given with the best intention, like maybe a parent trying to protect the child or whatever, it might work to some extent until it doesn't anymore. And ultimately, it's up to us to own our space. Because if we don't own our space, then other energy is controlling it, then we are not in control of our own life.
True.
Because you gave that control away. You give it permission to that energy to come in and control you.
So did it actually work like this, where I can actually make an agreement with this energy, and then one day when it no longer benefits both of us, which is the energy and me, we end the agreement?
You can, or actually, you can also have an agreement, but that energy doesn't have to be in your space. So, for example, let's say you have an agreement with a friend. I don't know, you guys go fishing. I'm just making it up right now. Maybe he can bring his own fishing rod. He doesn't have to borrow yours. And you guys can go fishing together. Whereas if he's in your space, then he's using your car, your fishing rod, and everything. Maybe one time is okay, 2 times is okay. But over time, you might want to go fishing without him. Or you might need to use the car for something else. Or you might need to use the fishing rod for something else. And you don't have control over it. If the point of the agreement is to catch fish together, he can be outside of it. Like, he can have his own car, he can have his own fishing rod, he can have, whatever, without actually invading your space. There is usually a very good reason why you want to surrender control over your life. And if that's where you are, it's fine, because maybe you want to experience life knowing how it feels when you don't control it. Then maybe at some point, okay, I'm done with this. I want to get my life back. I want to control my own life. Yeah, that could be that too. So there's no wrong or right. It's a matter of choice. And a lot of people do this unconsciously. But then when something happens, then it's hard for them to change. So a lot of people play victim, right? In the end, like, they couldn't change it unless you give permission.
Yeah.
In the first place, you gave up your remote control. So the first step is to actually get it back, right? To own it back. That's how people move from being victimized to actually owning their life. And a lot of people don't want that because they're happy to blame others. Whereas actually you could actually get the remote control back and change it, but they don't want to do that. So they have someone to blame.
Now I know what kind of family energy is.
Yeah, I think the more interesting question would be, why are you not willing to let it go? If you feel like you want to hold on to it, maybe you're not ready, maybe there's an agreement that you need to conclude first, you need to break the contract first. It's various reasons.
I think this energy is trying to remind me of something that doesn't have to do with the thing I let go. It's trying to remind me of something, to set the boundaries straight before taking any decision, something like that. Because it connects with the dark energy, dark green energy, which is lingering in my my neck part. But I'm still wondering why the energy don't want this communication to happen. Like, what worries them the most? Can we actually know about that?
It's not the same energy.
Different from the first one, right?
The meddling one is different. That's mostly ancestors.
I see. Oh, the first one is mostly ancestors.
So, and then I gave them some bleachers to sit, so they can sit, but on the side they can watch, they can listen, but they cannot meddle. So when I say hello to this dark green energy, the way that it works on you is it gives you this sense of guilt, like feeling guilty, almost like your internal alarm clock, like the sensor. If something happens, then the sensor goes off. So that's what it does. But this green energy, it specializes in making you feel guilty. And why did you agree to have it in your space, or what's the purpose of it being in your space? It's to remind you, so that it's like not to be selfish and to think of others, like being considerate.
So it can actually be good and not good.
Yes.
at the same time. Depends
Yes.
on the case.
It depends on the case. So the reason why it's still there, because you still feel like there's still some benefit. So you keep it because there's still some benefit from it. And then maybe when you're ready one day, you might let it go. Who knows?
Because you can be considerate and not came from guilt.
You can be from compassion, maybe, from care, from love,
Interesting.
right? Yeah, but this energy, you feel like it grounds you. It helps you keep in check. So that's why, for now, it's still beneficial for you. So you keep it.
I think my question will be, I still had the first question where, so I have already let it go. It's just they are trying to reconnect it. And then what is the next step for this dark green energy for me?
From what I see, right now, the dark green is put in place as like a safety mechanism. When the day you feel like you don't need it anymore, then you will let it go. So long as you feel like you still need it, then it's there.
So I invite
Yes.
that energy because I need that energy maybe that time.
Yes.
And then since I feel comfortable that time, so we make an agreement that time.
Yes.
And it's still lingering until now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have another question. So it's actually okay for the energy to stay, but as long as I don't give that energy control over my space and my energy. It's as long as we benefit each other and we don't cross each other's boundary.
I think it's a personal choice. It's like you're having a guest in your house. You want to let them in, you want to let them stay. You want to let them stay for how long? Do you want them to use your bedroom or not use the bedroom? Maybe use the guest bedroom or maybe sleep on the couch. It's entirely up to you.
Can I find out? So the agreement must have two sides,
Yes.
benefits.
Yes.
My benefit and the energy's
Yes.
benefit. So
Yes.
can I actually find a way to know the energy's benefits?
So the agreement is made with a being, actually. And because this being does not have a body, it is using your body to do stuff. So the benefit is that the being now has a body that they can use to do stuff. Because being just a being with no body, there are limits to what you can and cannot do. In order for you to materialize stuff on planet Earth, you need to have a body. And that being does not have a body.
And the being is of the guilt and being considerate to others.
No, the energy is to remind you.
The being is another one.
The being is using that energy. The job of the being is to provide this energy.
Because we had an agreement on that.
Yes.
So can he take over my body and do some evil stuff that is not on the agreement?
Probably not.
But it might use the guilt and considerate part not to an extent that is not benefiting me.
Well, it depends on how far you give permission to your body.
Okay.
The way I see, from what I see, it is mostly the permission that you granted is mostly through your voice, vocal communication. So it might say stuff that you don't want to say.
Does chatting include voice?
Like chatting.
Yeah.
I think so. Communication.
Okay.
I don't know if you notice, like maybe sometimes you say things that you don't really meant to say, but yeah, something like that. There is a high probability that it's not you.
Is this energy already here on our first session?
Yes. But the first session, it wasn't a priority, so it wasn't showing up before because it wasn't.
But it's already there
It's
this
already
whole
there.
time.
Yeah.
I think I know what, because at one point of life, I try to be more observant. Recently, I just realized that I just use these observant words as a guise to actually disguise so I don't say the wrong words before I know the person well enough, or I know about the environment where I am well enough before I say something. It's the same when it's in the, let's say I'm chatting through WhatsApp, but WhatsApp allows me to edit the chat and to unsend it. So a few times I noticed that I unsend or I added a lot of chat. There's a time when I added the chat, I think 5 to 6 times, because I feel like, no, I cannot say this thing. It sounds right, so I have to add it. I think it's this energy that makes me, well, at some point it benefits me. I have advantage because I can make sure the other person feels okay or better or even happy when I chatted or I say something to the other person. What I don't like is sometimes it's bothering me. Like, I also think if I say something wrong, then I will learn from it. Then next time I will not say it again, instead of just guessing and keep editing the chat. And then I also starting to realize that the moment I enter the conversation, I want to just be me. I don't have to say anything wrong, but I do see a few advantage of just keep quiet and feel the energy, feel the environment before I say something, before I start, letting myself be in there, be present. So that's what I feel. Does that relate to the energy? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah.
I'm still, even if I want to let go of this energy, I'm still considering it.
Yeah. When you're ready, you're ready. When the time comes and when you've gotten out, I'm sure there's something here that you need to maybe learn or figure out, or whatever the case may be. When you're ready to own it, you'll know.
Okay. Yeah, I also just realized there's a few disadvantages that this is affecting me long term.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, especially if you are more around communications, if you feel like voicing out your truth, if there's difficulty in doing that, or just saying out loud what you want to say, if that becomes an issue, then one day, maybe then the disadvantages outweighs the benefit, or maybe not.
Yeah, the disadvantages is on other side, because I don't think I have a problem voicing out the truth because I'm quite an honest person, but it does have some disadvantages in something like, so I took a longer time to reply or to prepare for something. Well, that's actually okay if it didn't screw everything up. But sometimes it messes things up, especially on the timeline, on the follows up. And it makes me miss something out sometimes. Well, I don't mind, because sometimes the thing I miss is I'm happy that I miss it. But yeah, I do miss some things that I shouldn't miss. So I have pros and cons.
Yeah, but I see that the longer term maybe disadvantage is more, especially if you want to do more public speaking.
I agree.
Or not a one-on-one, like one-to-many.
I agree.
Kind of situation. I can see that this then becomes a barrier, or
Agree.
like a hindrance. It's sort of like pull you back from that. But to some extent, it's comforting, because then you have like a nice pillow to lean back on, and you can sort of like remove yourself from the responsibility, because it's not my fault. There's that comforting side. But then again, if one day, for example, when the disadvantage outweighs the benefit, I think then when it's time.
Can an energy corrupted messes with other energy in our body? Like it affects, because it's lingering in our body.
It could, for example, messes with how the energy flows, for example.
Because I do realize, that's why I know that this is that kind of energy of it's affecting me, because I lately realized I want to do, like it's time for me to level up, but something is holding me back, and I've been looking for it, and I realized this is the thing. Although I don't feel like, okay lah, it's just that energy, I don't mind. And I don't think it's priority to remove it. But since now that you are mentioning it and it pops up, so it's a priority now? Is that how it works?
Maybe.
Because, okay, another question is, when the energy pop up, it's because of my subconscious popping it up, or it just pop up on its own?
In the reading, that's usually you or your higher self intention. You know, what you bring in. What do you want to be laid out in the session? So that's from you.
Okay, because I don't even know I want to let that out. but
Maybe
it let
not
out.
consciously,
Yeah.
but your spirit knows.
Yeah, so I can assume that my spirit want me to let that go, because it's like a cocoon. I want to be a butterfly, but I cannot be the
Yes.
butterfly because the cocoon is
Yeah, it's
holding.
comforting.
Yeah, it's comforting. I'm inside, I'm protected, but I cannot fly.
Yeah. Okay, so let me give you your next step. Your next step is showing up as an orange. Practice your vocal cords with that kind of singing. It could be like a song or however way, but it's just to practice your vocal cords in that sense. That's your next step. I see that by doing that, you will gain some awareness, and that also you will train your communication space in some ways to get more ownership of it. You'll start to notice some stuff as you're
Okay.
doing the exercise.
Oh, and I want to add something interestingly. Lately, I think a few months back, so I always want to hone my marketing skills. But lately, instead of honing the marketing skills, I started to realize that I have to hone my communication skills. Maybe that's why it's popping up.
Definitely,
And
yeah.
I now have to sing.
Well, the thing is just the practice. Okay, so with that, I will call this session complete. May it be the blessings of the Supreme Being that this session is complete. Amen. Thank you for sharing this sacred pause with me today. If something in this episode stirred your heart or softened your edges, I'd love for you to subscribe, like, and share with someone you love. And leave a kind review. It helps this soul space reach those who need it most. Until next time, may you trust your inner voice, nourish your spirit, and treat yourself to something sweet.